Oh goodness me, I love old French tunes. I don't even know what they're saying most of the time, but what I do know is I believe it with all my heart anyway. I've somehow managed to do 3 of these things. Mad, well done me. But now it's time to bring me back down to earth. So last time we left things, I was man of the match against Dorking and it was a big win and we indeed got the show back on the road. Now after this game, the first team had a week off and it was time to rest weary bodies and have time to recoup after a tough start to the season. But the second team had a game this week which I was selected to be a part of. I was on the bench for this because I was told that I needed to get fitter still, so I needed to keep playing, which was fair enough. And the team we would be playing this week were Wimbledon 2s. Now the reason for this being significant is that until 2 years ago I was playing for Wimbledon, and I feel like this is the best opportunity to give you guys the lowdown on not only my relationship with Wimbledon, but how I came there and how I ended up back at Tring.
Je l'aime trop, mon gigolo.
So to tell this story, I have to take you back to me leaving college. I went to Henley College, which was linked with Wasps Academy, and we're going to get into that because there's a lot to get through. For now, I'm just going to give you some minimal context. I had been playing with the mighty Tring for the second half of my last year of college, and I played really well, but this was the year that Tring got relegated, and the coach who had put faith in me was leaving the club, and he told me that he could get me a trial at another club in a higher league, because I told him in my first session at Tring that my desire was to play at the highest level I could, which he understood, and he really put faith in me, and we had a really good rapport, and he really helped me in terms of man management and like setting goals and knowing what I needed to do as a player. Also, when I was playing for Tring, I was playing on the wing, which allowed me to put into practice a lot of things that I've been wanting to work on, such as one-on-one attacking and like putting on footwork and like doing things that I'd never really had the opportunity to do while I was playing centre at college. And at the end of the season when he left, he said to me, I have 2 options for you where you can go to. You can go to a Nat 2 team in London who have just come up, or you can go to a Nat 1 team who are chasing promotion. This was a big decision for me, and I often think what would have happened if I had chosen the other one. But the team I chose was the Nat 1 team, Roslyn Park. It was a big decision for me, but I backed myself to do well. But in the last game of the season, I injured my ankle really badly, and I wasn't able to run like at all until basically the first session of pre-season for Roslyn Park. So not the best preparation for your biggest opportunity, but I just thought I'm just going to try my best and hope for the best. But sometimes that's not enough, and now that I think about it, it was a bit of wishful thinking, let's say, for me to think that I could just rock up with no training and like, still a bit injured ankle, like about 75%, and like play against players who'd like been playing pro rugby the year before or had been playing pro rugby until recently in like leagues as high as the Premiership. So it was an interesting pre-season. Like I was really unfit at the start of it, but as it went on, I was doing okay and sort of finding my feet a bit. But I was struggling with the amount of passing and the level of passing that's expected of you at that level. But pre-season comes to an end and I was feeling fit, and I managed to come through my trial and actually stay at the club, which I was really proud of myself for doing. And it was time to get into the pre-season game. So the first one comes around and I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'll get a spot on the bench, and I wasn't even in the team for it, which was interesting because I don't know, when you're younger you don't think about not the politics, but you don't think about the inner workings of a team at a high level, especially when money's involved. And so you underestimate those things, and like it was a bit of a shock, like not to be involved at all, but I was sort of like, okay, maybe I'll be involved in the next one. And it was a game against Cardiff, and my mum came to watch with my sister and my girlfriend, and it was a really proud moment for me. I only got 20 minutes where I threw a pass that I should have dummied, if I'm honest, and ran around like a headless chicken for the rest of the game. But I didn't really care, I was just so happy that I got to that point, and I thought in my head, if nothing else comes of rugby, if this is the highest I ever got, I did okay. And then the next game comes along and I'm on the bench again. It's against Chinna, and a bit of a different feeling with this one. I just come on in the last 5 minutes of the game where nothing's really happening, and I just run a support line for someone, clear a ruck, and someone scores a try themselves where I thought they were going to do a 2-on-1 and give it to me, but they just gassed the guy and scored themselves. But yeah, I didn't think much of it. I was just sort of like, oh okay, I'm just being a squad player in that one, maybe this is the way it works. But I didn't realise how much of a squad player I was going to be, because the next few weeks I'm just watching all the games and like not training well, I don't think. I did put my best foot forward, and so I get called into James Buckland, who was the coach at the time, office, and he says, we need to get you playing, don't you? And I was like, hell yeah, laughing nervously as I do. But he tells me that he wants me to go on loan to Wimbledon, and they're at the level that I was playing at before I came here, and I was like, oh, okay. And he said, you'll be training with them next session, so off you go. And that was it. I didn't know anything about this club, but I was just like, okay, that's how it is, cool. I didn't mind, I just wanted to get playing. I instantly went on my phone just to check, like, who's coaching at Wimbledon? Like, what's the team like? What are they doing? I found out that Nick Evans and Nick Easter, who were playing for Harlequins at the time, are coaches there. So I was like, oh wow, it'd be awesome to like learn off those guys. And so they've just come up from the league below, and they hadn't won a game yet since they come up. So I was like, oh okay, it's sort of familiar territory because Tring were in a relegation battle when I was with them. So yeah, I was like, okay, I can get into this. Thursday comes around, I made the mistake of wearing all Roslyn Park stash, which in hindsight I'm a bit like, Jesus, why? Anyway, the first trip away is against Guernsey, which is an awesome trip away where you stay over the night, and I played that game for Tring and it was great, and we managed to win. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. It was a bit of a weird one though, because I didn't know any of the boys, and you're sort of going on this sort of like mini tour. You don't really know anyone, but it was really good. And then the game comes, I'm playing at 12, and I managed to score, and it was a big high for me because I was just like, yes, alright, I'm getting into it. And then the second half comes around and I get a dead arm, and like I can't shake it off. I felt like I broke like something in my arm, but it was just bruised and swollen, but I couldn't really play on, so I came off. And that was a bit of a metaphor for me at Wimbledon, if that makes sense, because as the season goes on, I'd have like a really good game, and then I'd have a shocker. Like the next game against Colchester, I have an awful game, but I do something well and we score. But other than that, I have an awful game. Luckily we won, otherwise I would have been distraught. But it would be ups and downs. Like I have a really good game where I'll be man of the match, and the next week I'd be awful. I've never actually played well against Colchester because the next time we played them, I played badly as well, but I scored. So weird ups and downs. But yeah, and just as I'm getting into the swing of things at Wimbledon, the season ends. So I've been trying to record this part of the video, and it's not getting what I want across. So I'm just sort of gonna hit the bullet points, and I'm just gonna say everything from the heart. It was a bit annoying having the season end just as I was starting to get into it, because it had been a year of frustrations for me, and I just thought I was getting into the swing of things, but that's the way it was. And it was annoying because I hadn't done enough to give Roslyn Park anything to think about. Like, the coach that brought me in the year before had left, and I hadn't heard anything about me coming back apart from a passing conversation where someone said, you're one injury away from being in the team, so like keep working at it, which I know for a fact now is bollocks. And they're just chatting breeze, but we'll get to that. And so the season ends, and I'm sort of a bit like, I don't know, you're left a bit empty afterwards. Well, I am anyway, whenever it finishes. But I thought, well, at least I'll get all the money from all the expenses and stuff, and money from Roslyn Park, because I hadn't asked for any of it, because I wanted it all in one big wad. I don't know why, that's just the way I am. And then I go to speak to the managing director, I guess is the title of what he did, and say, could I get the money for the season expenses? And he does that classic business bullshit thing where you sort of say a lot, and you're very passive aggressive and very dismissive of what someone said to you. He was like, well, the thing is, and immediately bells are going over in my head. I'm like, what? Have I done something? Like, what's going on? And he's like, well, you weren't really our player this season. Like, we only agreed to pay you for pre-season, and this conversation wasn't in person. This is on the phone. I'm like going up Wembley High Road because my missus was getting on to me about the money, and I was sort of like, I was saying I was going, because she paid it off for me, and I said, when I get my rugby money, I'll pay you back. And so I'm just there like, okay, what do you mean? And he said, well, we weren't really our player now, and we never agreed for that. I had agreements that you were gonna pay my expenses, and then he says, we only agreed to pay your expenses for pre-season, and we'll happily do that, and we'll get that over to you soon. And I'm just fucking flummoxed, for want of a better word. I just remember this fucking feeling of like emptiness, and like heart sinks, and you're going things and said to you over the season, like I thought back to the time where I was training at the start of the season, training once on a Tuesday with Roslyn Park and on a Thursday with Wimbledon when I was first loaned out. And then after like about 5 weeks, they told me that Wimbledon had asked to have me for both sessions, both Tuesday and Thursday, so I could get to know the calls and stuff. And I was thinking, oh, that's fine. I wanted to know the Wimbledon calls anyway, because like barely knew them. And you think back and you're like, fucking red herring, isn't it? And I think back to conversations I had with one of the coaches about one of my games, because I was supposed to be sending them the videos for the games. And I remember he made a comment, and he said something along the lines of, oh, I only got this much through it, but like, like, and he made a sort of generic comment, and I was thinking, that didn't happen. But I was thinking, oh, maybe he's confused with another game he's watched from one of the other lone players. But now I think about it, it's like, he's not watching. Or maybe he did, it was just a mistake. But yeah, I think back to all those times. It took me back to other conversations that I had with this person, and you're just like, this person doesn't give a shit about me. Like, I'm 19, just turned 19 that year, or that season, sorry, and I don't know how to handle myself in business terms. I know now rugby's a business, and at that level, and you're cogs in a machine. I didn't understand that unless you have things in writing, people will fuck you over. And people can make a verbal agreement or whatever, but unless it's in writing, there's no proof, it's your word against theirs. And when you're 19, you're sort of like, I remember just hearing him, when he just said, oh, you won't play this season, what the fuck you mean? You don't say that. I get annoyed at myself because I feel like I'm a pushover, but because I was just like, you don't, yeah. You're young and you're just agreeing or whatever this person's saying, and you're like, yeah, it wasn't your play this season, is it? I'm just saying okay to all these things, and in my head I'm like, what's going on? And the conversation's over. So in my head, I'm expecting like £1,500 or something like that for the whole season's worth of expenses. Like from me travelling from Wembley to Wimbledon, Wembley to Roslyn Park, and train tickets, all that shit. I'm thinking, oh, okay. And I've paid for a holiday. I was going to India, and so I'm panicking in my head. Oh, pre-season's expenses, all right. How much is that? Oh, Jesus. And then they throw me in my account like 400 quid, and the holiday is about 1,500 minimum. And now I've put my girlfriend in a position where I'm saying I'm going to pay you back, and then I like burst into tears, like crying after the conversation. Like you can't say anything. You're just like, okay, bye. I haven't spoken to him since. I think it broke me a little bit, if I'm honest. Like I'd already been heartbroken over rugby stuff, like when I got dropped by wasps, which I'll get to in a later video, and the means that was told to me. And I know I'm coming at it from a very selfish perspective because it's me, but nah, you fucked me there, and you know you did. And I know that's a crazy person thing to say, but I could have fucking over it, man. And then you have to explain to people, oh, you know that thing when I said I was getting all this money? Oh, no. What do you mean? So and so has happened. It was the embarrassment of it, and the feeling of wasted time as well, because if I wasn't their player, why was I at Wimbledon this whole time? Why? I've been at Wimbledon this whole year because of Roslyn Park, and because they've told me to go on loan to this place, which I'm happy to do, but if I'm not their player, what? I couldn't fathom it, and I hope I can find the internet thing of it, because they put out a thing of the players coming in for the next season and the players departing. I don't know why I wasn't expecting to be on there, but they didn't have me on players who played this season, didn't have me on players departing. And there've been other trialist people at Roslyn Park, and other people who'd gone out on loan and then left on worse terms than me. Like it had just like It always happens in rugby, football, where people aren't getting played or they're not in happy situations, so they'll just leave it. It just happens. But I don't know. It was like wait. So I've been doing all this, and I'm not even. You don't even register that I play for the club. There's fucking pictures of me playing. Alright. Fucking broke me emotionally, man. Like, I feel like you always get in rugby or football, especially with people who don't make it to pro level, and you go into a bit of a slump because like you were counting on this and like you've not made it, and like that had already happened to me, where you're just sort of like, fuck, like what do I do now? But then I'd sort of pick myself up. I did well when I was at Tring, when I was at college, and then I did well enough that I got a trial for Rosen Park, and then I got in, but clearly I haven't. But yeah, so I've been at Wimbledon this whole time for not no reason, because it's playing that free, but it wasn't my choice. It just fucking broke me, man. And I didn't know what the fuck I was gonna do after. It's like I didn't know whether Wimbledon would still want me after. I didn't know. I knew that Rosen Park clearly didn't want me. I was gonna, in that conversation, I was gonna ask, would you wanna do next season? Would you be happy? Would I have to trial again or whatever? I was prepared to do anything. And you just get that, don't you? And so I don't train over that summer. I don't know whether I would have if things had been different, but I didn't. And luckily, I get a phone call from Nick Evans, and he asked what I'm doing next season. I said, I have no clue. I don't know whether you guys will want me back or whatever. And he asked if I'm staying at Rosen Park. I was like, no. I don't explain why, but I said no. And he says he wants me to be a big part of next season, and I was like, okay. And it felt nice to feel wanted. But I go on holiday. I haven't been training, but I know I'm going back to Wimbledon, which is something. I'm thinking, okay, I'll try and get my stuff in order here. And I see online that some people I know have gone to Ealing's under 23 academy, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, I can go there and like try and keep pushing forward this rugby thing. And I spoke to the head guy, and I explained my background, explained that I was with Rosen Park last season, and yeah, they said they'd be happy to have me come down for pre-season. And so I'm like, oh, okay, do pre-season with Ealing, but I come in and I'm very big in terms of not been training. Like when I don't train, I put on a lot of weight, and so I come there and they're probably expecting, because I've said I was with Rosen Park last season and I was on loan with Wimbledon playing Nat 3. They're probably expecting something from me, and then I come and then I'm one of the most unfit people there. I'm the most unfit back, and I get put in. They have a thing called Fat Club, where you do extra fitness before training, and to like get you up to speed, which I was happy to do, because I was like, okay, I'll do it. But I didn't fix my diet while I was doing it. So I was doing loads of training, but I wasn't making the progress that other people were making because I wasn't fixing that. And then, sorry, I'm telling this story so out of order. Then I go on holiday for 3 weeks and miss the whole of Wimbledon's pre-season because their pre-season started late. And so I do like 2 sessions when I come back. And I remember Nick Easter, when I came back, I was like, fucking hell, no, you spent like your whole holiday at Pizza Hut. And I was like, oh, you know, you just laugh shit off, but because that's, in a rugby environment you get things like that. I don't mind it, but it just sort of like, oh shit, did I get that big? And I guess that's the thing about weight loss, don't notice it until it's too late. But yeah, and I sort of screwed myself a bit going on holiday, because in terms of getting into the team at Wimbledon because the pre-season was so short, and like you'd prioritise people who were there, which any coach would do. And I'm in the second team for the last pre-season game for Wimbledon, and have a fine game. We get pummeled by Barnes, I think, but they're twos, and I'm like, I feel really unfit during the game. I'm like, fucking hell. And then I'm on the bench for the first team game that they were playing Dorking, and I remember I come on as a blood replacement. Like I wasn't supposed to play really at all, but I come on and the ball comes to me, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll throw in a kick. I haven't kicked in a game in like 2 years or something, and I slice it so bad it just goes up, and then I'm like, fuck. I like run over to try and catch it so I can like sort of be like, sorry. I drop it, they do 2 passes and score in the corner, and then I'm just like, what have I done? And then blood replacement comes back on, and I'm just thinking, oh my god, what have I done? You can guess that I didn't make the first team game of the regular season, which I understood. Like I was just like, I was so upset with myself. And then as the season goes on, getting bits of games that like I come off the bench, or I'll get the odd start here or there. Someone gets injured in the midfield, but Wimbledon, like they were winning. Like last season we were like, it was about staying up, and like this season we just hit the ground running. It's a winning team and a winning centre partnership, and the centres were good. And so I'm struggling to get in here, and like it was even more annoying because when I came in I did okay. Like I thought I did really well actually. Whenever I scored tries when I came off the bench, and in the 2 starts that I played in, like I played really well, I thought. And they're just getting bits and pieces of game time, and then we have an away game against Guildford where all I do in that game, I come on for like 20 minutes, but we're defending the whole time, and all I managed to do is like start a scrap in a game, which isn't my thing, but that's what happened. And I'm not in the squad for the next game, and I'm playing in a second team game, which I don't even remember, and you'll know why now, because I got concussed in the game. I don't even know who we were playing against, but I get concussed in the second team game. I don't remember the day, I don't remember anything like that. The only thing I do remember is that feeling of being fed up, like going back, I think I was on the coach, or going back in someone's car. I just remember that feeling of just being like, I think I'm done. I think I'm done with playing here, like, because I was travelling a lot to play for Wimbledon, and it's hard when most of the weeks you're going there, you're either on the bench or you're playing with the second team. And like when I was with Ealing Academy, I was on loan to Wimbledon, so I was on loan to them again. But it's hard when you're talking to the Ealing guys and they're like, how come you're not in the first team? And that pressure of that, and I didn't want to be playing second team rugby, because the second team, I forgot to mention, the second team played in the same league as all the Ealing boys who weren't out on loan. They played for the Ealing amateurs team, and so I didn't want to be playing second team rugby because I might as well be there. And yeah, I just had that feeling after that game, whoever it was against, I was like, I'm done. I can't. Getting injured is bad enough, but when you get injured in a second team game, you're just sort of like, if you're gunning for a first team place, you're just like, oh. And the add-on of getting concussed is you're out for like 3 weeks, and it was just before Christmas, and so I've been grinding away trying to get into the first team and like playing bits and pieces and like trying, and then so in that 3 weeks that you're off with concussion, I'm missing 3 games, and then it's a Christmas break, so like there's going to be like a effing 8-week period when I'm not playing rugby, and even when I come back I'll be in the second team, and then it'll be like, at best like, and if I tore it up somehow, there's no guarantee I'll probably get a spot on the bench, but like it's like fucking 6-7 weeks until you get into playing first team rugby again. So yeah, I was done, and it was time for me to move on. But in typical me fashion, it can't be that simple, can it? Because I can't just leave and like tell people I'm leaving. I decided that I wasn't going to tell anyone I was going to leave. I didn't know where I was going to go, but I knew I was going. I just sort of didn't speak to anyone. As soon as I got a concussion, I just didn't speak to anyone. And I don't know why in my head that was the best solution. And it wasn't the first time that something's happened like that with me. Like, my go-to whenever, I don't know if it's a certain social situation, but when I sometimes get these urges to like hide away and like not talk to people. And there have been times in the season where I remember the team manager was ringing up my girlfriend because they didn't know whether I was going to show up to a game or not because I hadn't done my availability or stuff like that. And I think I was unhappy, and I was taking that unhappiness out subconsciously on people who didn't deserve it. Like, and still to this day, I haven't apologised for that, and I want to, and I probably will after I finish recording this. But you never know with me. But it brings me deep shame and like anger towards myself whenever I think about that. Especially with one of the coaches at Wimbledon who had helped me out with a lot of stuff, and like I dropped out of uni, and basically because I couldn't bring myself to get out of bed, and I'd done the same thing actually as what I did with Wimbledon. I didn't say I was leaving uni, I just didn't show up for the whole year, and this person at Wimbledon was trying to get me back into uni and like do all this stuff for me, and like was like checking up on me and making sure I was okay. And I didn't have still haven't got the bottle to talk to him, because I know that I let him down. I'm very sorry, but I wouldn't forgive me. And I remember he sent me an email saying, I think you owe me a phone call, fella, and he put a comma, I hope you're okay. And I still didn't fucking talk to him because I was just me. I just ran away. And he was one of the few people in the world who was just honest and just said it how it was. And like, if I wasn't in the team, he told me why. It's not like being a dick and like people who say, oh, I'm not a prick, I'm just a realist if you're from 2014. But he was just very helpful to me, and I wasn't good, and everyone at Wimbledon was, in terms of coaches and everything, was very nice to me, and I still have a deep shame about the way things ended up. But I forget to mention this, there was other stuff behind the scenes at Wimbledon that was annoying me, that I can't really go into, but that sort of made the decision to leave a bit easier. But nothing to do with the coaches or anything like that, or the players. But I still wish I had handled myself with more honour, for want of a better word. And I'm even thinking about it now, and you just want to cry. Yeah, and at that point things weren't going better at Ealing either, so all the under 23 games I was on the bench for, and like not really being able to show what I can do. Like I'd like fuck up in games, and I wasn't as effective as I should be, apart from like brief spurts where I could show what I could do, kind of like when I was at Wimbledon, and apart from one game where I got man of the match. But even then, I remember the coach was like, oh, he like shouted me out saying, "Oh, you played really well today and got man of the match, but you're still half the player that the person who's in front of me is. Make up that way you will." But yeah, so I wasn't doing great for myself there, and I was looking for another club, and then thought to myself, go back to Tring. And I know I was complaining about the travelling of going Wembley to Wimbledon, but now I was like, I can go to Tring, maybe they'll have me back. And I go to one of their games, and like they're in the league below Wimbledon, because the year I was with them they got relegated. But yeah, I speak to the coach, and I speak to one of the players that I'm close with in the team, who I played with before, and he asked what I thought about coming back, and I said yeah. And so that was it, I was going to Wimbledon. And so that was it, I was going to Tring, going back to Tring. And so I do like a session over the Christmas period with them, and then getting right into it, the first game of the season, and because of people being unavailable, I managed to be starting the first game when I come back in the first team. So I'm like, okay. And yeah, it was a bit weird. I was playing on the wing, not my usual centre, but I didn't care. It was just nice to be starting, I guess. And yeah, it was an up and down game. Like I was so chubby when I came back, and we were wearing the yellow strip instead of the black one, so just my gut was out. But I score in that game, and I do a few good things, but do a few bad things also. But all in all, I thought I had a good game and we won. So I was okay, and I thought I did okay to be in the team next week. But I was on the bench because the people who were coming back came back, and so that was fine. I was like, okay, that's all good. And then the season's going on, and I'm on the bench most of the games. Was fun. I'm working my way up, and then I get a few starts, and I do well in those, and like things are going well. And then, but those starts were at 12, and so I got to 13, and I have like not a shocker, but not a good game, and then I'm back on the bench, which was I was so upset. I was just like, dear, no. But it wasn't through my mistakes, weren't through like bad decisions. They were through like me not being fast enough to get to places I should be able to get to, and like just through my own physical condition. And that was annoying. But that's what happens. And we have a game against Chingford where I'm on the bench, and I come on early into the game because someone's injured, like 10 minutes in, and I thought I played really well when I came on. And like people from the other team who I knew from playing with at Wimbledon were like, oh, if you ever want to come to Chingford, I was like, oh. But like that's how well in my head I was like, okay, I played well if they're saying that. And then the next week I'm not in the team at all because someone's come back from injury, and yeah, I'm into the second team, and that was a weird one because I was thinking in my head, like after the game I was like, oh, maybe I'll get a start like after that game. But no, opposite. It's a running theme, it seems, with these videos, me thinking something's going to happen and me being like so wrong. But yeah, and then we play a second team game against Ampthill. I'm doing well, I scored, like they're better than us in the second team game, but we're like hanging in there. And then they had a big 12, he runs into me, and I get concussed again. And that's it for me for the season, because it was in the last few games. And I just remember being so put out and being like, I've moved club because of this, the same thing, and I'm in the same position. And it had a knock-on effect at Ealing because I was in line to start a game for Ealing, like our biggest game, which was against London Scottish Academy, under 23s game. And now I'm concussed for the rest of the season, and it's like, you're done for the rest of the season. Like, it just felt like everything was a waste. And I did my usual thing of not speaking to anyone. So Tring went on to win the league that year. And even to this day, I feel like I didn't win the league with Tring. I didn't earn that. I wasn't a part of that in my head. And I'm sure probably people agree with that. But yeah, I didn't show my face back after that. I didn't speak to anyone because I didn't feel like I deserved to. Like they were doing like you won the league, like all the banners and all that stuff, and like the coach at Tring rang me up and asking if I wanted to come, and I said I was gonna, but I didn't think I deserved to be there. I didn't want to be there because I wasn't a big enough part of it, but I felt like I could be there. And like, yeah, I didn't show up to the awards dinner or anything like that because I didn't feel like I deserved to be there. I didn't feel like I was part of it enough to warrant being there. And yeah, so I did my usual thing of hiding away. And then next season's about to start, and I come in to Ealing's pre-season weighing more than I did when I first showed up, and I do 2 weeks, and like I feel like I'm doing okay in terms of, I'm not fit or anything, but I'm doing okay in terms of the drills. Like rugby wise I'm okay, but not fitness wise and all that stuff. And I'm away for a little bit, and I didn't tell them until like 4 days after, or a week after. I think it was a week after actually. And I told them, I'm going to be away for another like 2 weeks on top of that, on holiday. And then while I'm on holiday, I get an email saying you've been released. So my stupidity of me not wanting to tell people anything or tell anyone what I'm doing comes back to bite me a little bit. And so I'd been training with Tring as well during pre-season before I went on holiday. And I didn't tell them I was going on holiday either. And I was just a mess. And I guess now you're all caught up, apart from like me from when I was like 5 to 18. But in terms of senior rugby and the start of the playoff, you're caught up. I guess all that all together had me feeling a little